Hey, it's Leah Catherine here for the third episode of the Way Home newsletter. And of course, there's a link below so you can sign up to our newsletter. This week, the Lord has given us a very important word about the food supply, what it's doing to your body and how to change it so it doesn't literally destroy you. We'll talk about, it's a very important word. First, I just want to say a couple things. Number one, we are in a war. And you see the physical war out there. You see all the stuff that's going on between different nations and actual physical bombs and physical people getting hurt and killed and very terrible things going on. But understand that we're in a spiritual war at the same time. And that spiritual war, there's first a war in the spirit and then it comes to earth. And we've been warned for a long time of what's coming very, very soon. So this has been a time of preparation. And we're still, we've got a few minutes left on the clock before it all explodes, but we're running out of time, right? So a couple things. The reason I started the Way Home newsletter is to inform you of both spirit, soul, and body. Thessalonians says, may your spirit, soul, and body be preserved complete at the coming of our Lord Jesus. And there's a reason for that. It's a reason why it's not just all physical, like, oh, we'll just get guns and, food and stuff. That's not the answer. And some people go, oh, well, I just trust God. I'm just walking in the Spirit. Everything's great. Really important. But that's also not the whole answer. So what we're going to try to bring to you is not only ways to survive what's coming in terms of spiritual, physical, and your soul as well, but also to thrive and fulfill your destiny that God has put you on this earth for. Okay. So a couple things. Please sign up for a newsletter. Link is below. And I'm also going to be launching an app this week so that because of censorship and also because often emails just land up in promotions tab, you do have the option, if you like, to download our app to your phone. And then you get it directly into your phone so you won't miss it. If you've been missing it for the last 2 weeks, if you haven't got it, look in your promotions tab. It comes out every Tuesday. If it's in your promotion tab, drag it into your inbox and your primary email, and you'll be getting it. Okay, quickly. So link to sign up is below. Also, last week in our newsletter, we had a really important article. It was on food, and I'll leave the link to that as well because you may wish to read it. And I think that's it. So we would love it if you would like, share, and subscribe to this email as well, or to this YouTube, because we want to reach as many people as we can, and you don't want to miss. We're going to be getting a word every single week from the Lord. He has promised that to us, and they're important words. So I hope you subscribe. Okay, I'm going to get right into the word right now. I'm going to read it. I don't want to do it wrong, so I'm going to read it. Okay, so he's talking about the food supply, and right now, there's all kinds of things going on. They're shutting down farmers. They are destroying food processing plants. They're messing now with the ports. They don't want imports coming in. And they are also changing they're legalizing things like lab-grown meat. They're pushing, here in Canada, they're pushing things like crickets. Okay, so we're at a vital turning point in our food supply for all those reasons. So there's massive gross manipulations that they're doing right now, but there's also something they've been doing for decades, and you're so aware of it, you're not even thinking about it every day, but it's getting worse and worse and worse. So this is actually an important word from the Lord. He says, what you are eating is killing you. Okay? So I'm just going to jump right in. He says, you are what you eat. And as we see in the USA and Canada and a lot of places around the world, Western nations, a large portion of the population, from young children through those in your 80s, are not only overweight, but they are morbidly obese, where even walking a few steps is a mammoth task. So if this is you, if you're listening to me and you're quite a bit overweight, we are not here to shame you. We are here to love you. This is a message of love from God for you. So please don't turn off. Please don't get upset. I'm being obedient to say this word that he's given us because we love you and we want you to rise into the destiny that God has for you. Okay, so please don't ever misinterpret anything I say. Even if we have a hard word, God says he disciplines those he loves because he wants them to go the full route, right? He doesn't want to lose you. Okay, so that's where we're coming from. The kind of obesity that we're seeing in North America is a massive problem. But even those of us who are not obese, we are still affected by the same things, which I'll get to in just a moment. we still need to be concerned about our food supply and what we eat. So people compromise and learn to live with their condition, but where did it start? In the USA, many believe that in the land of the free, they can eat whatever they want, as much as they want, and supersize it too. What comes with that is weight gain, and exercise seems less and less attractive. So continuing to eat large, fat, heavy foods with poor nutrient content, and that's actually a key, accelerates your weight gain until obesity is a clear and present danger. The statement, "you are what you eat," appears to underpin this battle. The real problem is that what you've been offered to eat in the last few decades has changed. It's not what it used to be. You can say that's been deliberate. I think it probably has. You can say it's all about profits. I think it is. You can say they're trying to undermine an entire nation, and I think that's also true. Meanwhile, they get to go to the bank, and they make you sick, and then they sell you diabetes drugs, or they sell you drugs to help your problem, right? You see, it's a vicious, vicious cycle. Okay, so the key word now is processed. That is processed food which lines our supermarket shelves. The entire middle section of the supermarket is processed foods, while the real food's around the outside, right? I don't know if you've ever noticed that everything in the middle is processed. So what I was a dietitian for 25 years. What I recommend to people is just stay out of the middle as much as you can. If you have to go in quickly and get out, right? What we eat has been drummed into us, like we're advertised like crazy. You know, we used to promote the Canada Food Guide, and we'd get like $100,000 or something. The government would allocate a very small amount to promote that. And then I remember that year, I think it was, one of the cereal companies spent 17 million promoting Fruit Loops or whatever it was. Like we are so promoted to, we are so advertised to, we don't even know what's real or true anymore. So what we eat has been drummed into us, what the media promote, what our friends eat and do, that pushes us in a certain direction, to eat in a certain way and to eat certain things that really run against what we should be eating for our physical well-being. Very few will tell you about the right foods to eat, the foods that will leave you healthy and happy and at a good weight, which matches your body type and height. The key here is that fruits, vegetables, grains, and meat that I, so the Lord, I have set aside for you to enjoy, to grow strong on, to live out your happy life, has truly been set aside. And I just have to interject. You know, we always talk about, how much fat, how much sugar. But the truth is, when you're eating, it's what's missing. That's the most important thing. Like if you're eating ultra-processed foods, and the article I'm referring to is from last week, where it showed that 32 different disease states, including, of course, heart attacks and, diabetes and all these things, is caused by ultra-processed foods. Why? Because not only is it giving you stuff you don't need, it's not giving you the stuff you do need. I mean, can you imagine if you decided to try to run your car on, tangerine juice or something? Your car would not run on tangerine juice. You could run on tangerine juice, but your car can't. Imagine if you filled your gas tank with gravel and tried to go. You couldn't. So it's the same with your body. Just because it has a picture of an orange on the package, it doesn't mean there's any oranges in there or orange juice in there, right? It might look orange, but it's got not the value. So if your brain isn't getting nutrients that it needs, you're not thinking right, you're not acting right, your mood's wrong, maybe you can't sleep at night, you're gaining weight, and you're not healthy. And it starts a whole cascade. Okay. So what's happened now, rather than wholesalers and markets having to respond to seasonal fruits and vegetables, they would rather have that item in stock, from carrots to peaches to plums and raisins and grapes. They would like to have it all year round. And we've learned to expect that. We've learned to expect that you could walk into a supermarket in January and get grapes, which is crazy because I live in Canada and I can tell you there's no grapes in Canada in January. But we expect that now, right? And so we will take things like grape juice, or we'll take all these other things that aren't grapes. And to do that, the best thing they can do is recreate it. It becomes a processed food. A good example is McDonald's, where everything is extremely processed. Somebody once said there's no potatoes in the fries. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's been a lot written on McDonald's and these fast food restaurants. And there's a lot of salt and there's a lot of oil, that we do know. And it's through this processing that the goodness of the food that is meant to represent is lost. It's through this processing that the goodness of the food that's meant to represent is lost, i.e. you're not getting any nutrition. You may as well be eating cardboard that they have made to taste like beef, to taste like bread, to taste like butter, and it's all chemical. Another side note, I remember 40 years ago at university learning how to make pineapple essence. And it was this horrible chemical and this horrible chemical and this horrible chemical all mixed together. And we did this thing to it and we heated it up and did whatever. And we created pineapple essence. And I thought, whoa, like I just took a bunch of toxic things and made something that you might want to eat. It was quite sobering for me to see. And that was 40 years ago. Like, we've been doing this for a long time now. And the ingredients that then go into these foods are fillers. It's like, well, here's some flavoring, here's some coloring, and here's something that fills up the space. But it's not food. And when you put that ultra-processed food inside your body, it doesn't know how to deal with it. See, this is key. Your body kind of goes, well, I don't recognize this. This is not something I can process. So it stores it as fat because it doesn't know it can't use it, right? But what you find inside that processed food is its need to measure up to the body's signals. So the body likes salt. It needs salt. It needs sugar. It needs fat. Those are 3 ingredients that your body does actually need. So what fast food manufacturers have realized is that if they put those 3 ingredients in, then you're going to want them. You're going to want the sugar. You're going to want the fat. You're going to want the oil. And so you continue eating these foods. And the body goes, oh, okay, I got some sugar. Oh, okay, I got some salt or whatever that I need. But you're still not fulfilling the nutrient requirements of your body. So you're slowly starving your body to death. Now, that's not in the word. Remember, I was a dietitian. So I know this stuff. So you're actually slowly starving yourself to death, and you're slowly creating disease conditions within your body that are going to harm you. Not only will they, in the end, harm you and may kill you, in the meantime, you might have a stroke. In the meantime, you might not be as smart as you're meant to be. In the meantime, your moods might be off. You may be quite irritable. You may be quite anxious. You may be quite just not how you're meant to be. And so I really want you to pay attention to this stuff. I don't want to overwhelm you. I just want you to pay attention to what God is saying about your food supply. Okay, so when you eat French fries, they taste good. You get the starch, you get the oil, you get the salt. Your body's kind of happy, right? But it's not actually feeding you. And when it hits your stomach with all the fats and oils in the food, it typically gets stored away in the body because it's not being burnt because you're not doing enough exercise. So people just get larger and larger and larger because modern day culture is not one of exercise or eating right. It's a sedentary one, watching other people do things. And you're watching me do this right now, but I'm really guilty of this. I'm really guilty. I have to apologize almost every day saying, Lord, I spent too much time on YouTube. I get caught by the shorts. I have to admit I'm addicted to shorts, and I can spend a lot of time watching shorts because I like to learn, right? Whatever your excuse is, that's mine. I encourage you today to turn the social media stuff off. I mean, watch this video, but set yourself a time limit on what you're going to watch and get out and do something. If you have a house, go paint your house, go dig a garden, go walk the dog. If you're in an apartment, go walking, go work out, go to friends, go help people mow the lawn, do whatever. Get some exercise. Our bodies were made to move, and they're not made to be sedentary. And I'm a lot more sedentary than I want to be. So I'm speaking to me too, just so you know. All right. So the reason I raise all of this is because people's weight, and typically, if you're an American or Canadian, I'm speaking to you. So that's the Lord saying, I'm speaking to you. Where weight is one of the most important things on people's minds, as the majority are already in the category of obese. And I got to be honest for myself, I've gained a lot of weight since I hit menopause. 5-ish or so years ago. It's really shocked me because I was always really skinny, and now I'm actually quite a lot more than I was even 5 years ago. And so this is for all of us. We all have to really pay attention to what he's saying here. And of course, everybody wants to be slimmer, so they end up putting chemicals in their bodies. You know that new drug Ozempic, I think it was called? It's making people really, really sick. So you don't want a drug. You don't want a drug. You don't want more chemicals in your body. Do you remember when we were young, maybe the ladies who were models, for example, would have, cigarettes and coffee, and that was their thing for keeping them slim? So first of all, your weight is not your health. So you can be really skinny and you can be unhealthy. You can be really overweight and you can be really unhealthy. But there are people kind of in the middle where they might be healthy, they might not be. You can't really tell just by how they look. But it's what's going on inside of you that's so important. What's happening to your heart? What's happening to your liver? What's happening to your brain? And what's meant to be happening? Because if you're starving your body of all these things for all those years, like the coffee and cigarette folks, they're not going to be healthy. They might be skinny, but they're not healthy, and their brain's not functioning well. Okay. So the Lord started talking about the dieting industry and how we all want to be slim, and yet we're sort of surrounded by pictures of beautiful, slim people, and then we're fed all this garbage, right? He's saying obesity is $1 trillion market in itself, the fashion. So, in the last few decades, people have gone, well, I may be overweight, but I want to be beautiful. So, of course, people are making beautiful clothes, and there's nothing wrong with that. But rather than saying, I love my body enough, I love myself enough to take the time and to get healthy and to change what I'm doing. So fashion, disease, operations, medications, hospital time, long-term care, diets, pills, exercise equipment, all these things. And the Lord's saying, you just have to eat differently and don't fall for everything that they're pushing at you. And it says, at whose cost? Like this $1 trillion business that's come up around obesity. And a lot of it's just medical care because we're sick. At whose cost? Of course, it's your cost. It's taxpayers' cost, but it's also your cost. And you pay in terms of time, sickness, money, health, sleep, anxiety, mood. It really affects people's mood. And you become a slave to this system. And you don't even realize how much you're enslaved to this system until you try to stop. Just try to stop eating sugar. Try to stop eating French fries. Try to stop watching shorts on YouTube. We're addicted in so many levels of our society now. And again, I say this because I love you. I'm not trying to shame you. And also remember, your weight is not your worth. And I said this last time too, but I really want you to hear this. You are special. You are beautiful. You are loved by God. And your weight is irrelevant to how God sees you. It's your spirit that matters, right? It's the thing inside of you that matters. It's the thing that's eternal, that's going to be with Him for eternity, hopefully. Your body, as someone says, it's a 99 cents worth of chemicals, but it is this glorious earth suit, as people call it, that God chooses to have you walk out your time on this earth, where He chooses to live with you, inhabit with you. And your body is given to you for your time on earth. So can you fulfill your destiny if you die before your time? Can you fulfill your destiny if you're just not healthy and you can't get up and you can't walk? What if we need to run? What if we need to protect our family? What if we need to grow a garden? What if we need to learn how to fast for periods of time when there's no food? How will you do? What if you are reliant on diabetes medication? And because of what's coming, like right now the ports are shutting down, what happens if you can't get your diabetes medication? Now, as a dietitian for 3 decades, I saw that many, if not most people, could cure their diabetes by just losing weight. 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 100 pounds. Everybody's different. But someone who's just a little bit overweight and has diabetes, like adult onset, not the child diabetes, but the stuff you get when you're middle age, most people can be cured if they lose weight. It's that simple. A lot of things, a lot of things. Okay, so I'm not done yet. Okay, so is there a way out? The Lord really, really wants you to know there's a way out. And of course, it involves going back to basics. Go to the Word in Genesis and see what the basics are. What did God provide us with? Now, we're going to talk about herbs another time, really important. But go back to the foods that God has given us. Really important. I'm not asking you to go on a diet. In fact, I'm not going to, this is like the 6-page message, and we're not going to get to the second thing till next week. But I asked the Lord, okay, well, what diet should we be on? Caveman, carnivore, all these different types. And He didn't really like that word diet. And the reason is because what you eat, what the foods that He gave you should be your diet. Not what this expert says or that expert says. It's the foods that God gave you. And I read another prophetic word somewhere. No, it was one He gave to us. He said, only eat the foods that you can recognize. Like, for example, maybe don't eat that pork hash. Eat a cutlet. Or things that you can recognize. Okay, that's a leg, that's a steak, that's an egg, right? Because they're trying to put all kinds of stuff into our food supply now. They're wanting you to eat crickets. You know they're doing lab-grown meat. You know there's been no studies, right? How many different types of bugs are they going to want you to eat? And the more processed your food, the more of this garbage you are going to be forced or coerced or tricked into eating. I would rather just go vegetarian or, like beans and stuff rather than eat crickets. If they're going to take the meat away, we need to learn to eat beans and rice like most of the world does. I would caution against eating lab-grown meat. What on earth is lab-grown meat? Whether you believe in evolution or whether you believe that God made us precisely to act a certain way, in our body system to act a certain way, you can't believe that whatever some scientists cook up in a lab is going to be good for your body. It's just not. All right. Does the Word of God promote the consumption of ultra-processed foods? No, it doesn't. I think the Bible says every man should have his vine, meaning you should grow your own grapes if you can. Okay, so he's saying, I'm going to cut it short here, but he's saying, despite the thousands of temptations that surround you every day, you need to make a commitment to move away from processed food and stick to it. It's really important. I want you to take this message as if your life depends upon it, because it does. It's that serious, guys. Be particularly wary of things experts are selling you. Misinformation and disinformation are the way so many things are sold, and you're coerced and deceived into getting things. So that's, I'm going to stop there on his message today because I think that's enough. So again, to reiterate, we love you. God loves you. I love you. I am not here to shame you. Man, my glasses just seem like they're wrong, don't they? I think my head's bent or something. Anyway, we love you. We are not here to shame you. We are here to lift you up. We are here to say that you are loved by God and you have an eternal destiny. And yes, if you're saved, you're going to go home to heaven when you die. But there's so much more to do between now and then. If you have children and you're raising children in this day and age, God bless you. Think about everything you buy. Now, I want to talk about cost. Because traditionally, good food is more expensive than junk food. And that's why you eat more and more and more and more junk food, because you think, oh, well, one bag of chips, $2, whatever, right? But what I encourage you to understand is the cost of eating junk food is so much higher than the cost you spend for good food. Say you go to a restaurant, and I learned this like 30, 40 years ago. I remember reading this somewhere, and it made so much sense to me. You go into a restaurant, and everybody orders their hamburger and their fries and their milkshake and their whatever, right? But you can go, so for whatever that costs, $20. I don't know, it's gone up in price a lot now. Here in Canada, that'll be like $24 Canadian. But say you had the shrimp salad and water, you're probably going to come in at that same price, right? So avoid the deep fried stuff. Okay, you know what, guys? Tell me if you want me to do a biblical based eating, not diet, but an eating plan. Like, would you like a course that would give all this information to you, like an 8-week course or something that would help walk you through all this stuff? Maybe give me some comments down below. Let me know if this is something you want. If so, then I will get back to you on that next week or soon. Yeah, let's just talk to me, okay? If this is something you want, then, and keep following me, then I'll get back to you about when we can start that. Because we could even do one before Christmas, which would help you a lot. Christmas is the worst time for eating the wrong things. Anyway, just to recap then, God loves you. This is really, really, really important. I need you to start cooking your own foods, being in control of what goes into your food. Yes, you should grow your own garden. If you live in an apartment and that's not possible, we'll talk about more ways to be a bit more food self-sufficient. In the meantime, what you can do tonight or tomorrow, whenever you get this, I want you to look at your cupboards and start to think and start phasing out the junk. Like if you are eating, pretend mashed potatoes, like instant mashed potatoes, those are great if you're camping or if you're, in a situation where you're, like a difficult situation. But for day to day, you should be cooking potatoes, right? You should be eating your own potatoes. If you're eating fries, eat potatoes instead. Like, it's not about denying yourself. It's about being wise. So just take an honest look at your cupboards and even tell me below, how'd you do? Are you 100% pure? Are you 50% pure? Do you have a whole lot of junk in your cupboards? What are you going to do about it? You might go, you know what? I'm going to finish that chocolate cake, but I'm not going to buy another one. And this is not a diet. This is not like, uh-oh, I had one piece of chocolate cake. I guess I may as well eat the whole thing, because that's what dieting does to you, right? Oh, well, I've cheated. I've blown it. I may as well do this other thing. No, I'm saying eat less chocolate cake. I'm saying when you got that need for a sweet, grab some apple slices or grapes or something. Re-educate your mind. The fat, sugar, salt thing, that's what gets your mind. It's like, oh, I need to have more of that stuff, right? But once you understand that it's killing you in those combinations, learn to anticipate, learn to get excited about real food. And you know this, fruits and vegetables is what you should be craving, right? But advertising has convinced you otherwise. So anyway, I've gone on way too long here, but I really wanted to make this point. You are loved and you are necessary. It's better to get in shape. It's better not to be sick. It's better to be taking care of this temple, because God wants to live inside us and he wants to use you mightily in the times that are, well, pretty much now. It's coming right now, saints. We've been preparing for a long time, and I think we're going to see a lot of poop in the next couple months. And yes, you should be stockpiling food. Yes, you should be making sure you have fresh water stored away for times like this when we have hurricanes or we have, you know, what's coming for the elections. We're going to have I'm imagining we're going to have some unrest. So make sure you have good food in your stored up. And as you go and now start shopping, I want you to learn to cook if you can't cook. It's really important. Learn how to make simple things like rice and beans. Learn how to make simple things like, pan-fried bread where you don't need yeast and all that stuff. Like learn how to make simple, good things. I did talk to the Lord about keto, and I'll talk about that another time. Okay, just eat good food. Forget about what combinations and what's good. Eat good food, and good food is something that a farmer grows in his field. Now there's pesticides. That's a whole other topic, and we'll do it another time. Okay, God bless you. Again, please sign up for our newsletter. Link is below. Please like and share this video because it helps me get out to as many people as possible. The more you like and share, the more people will get this message. We are building a community, saints, of people who are getting ready for the return of the Lord, but also who will be useful for the kingdom while we're still here. We're going to be healthy. We're going to be spiritually healthy, physically healthy, and our soul's going to be healthy too. And soul topics are coming up soon. Okay, love you madly. And if you're signing up, or I'll send out an email about this, we're going to start the app this week. I got to do all the technical stuff with it. But when the email comes to you about the app, please sign up for it because it's a way we can reach you and not be censored. Okay? God bless you.